Greetings, students. Just wanted to take a few minutes and walk through your policy analysis, your final part of the policy analysis paper. This is a crucial assignment worth a lot of points, and so I want to make sure that you have a real clear understanding about what the expectations are for this particular assignment. So I'm going to walk through them with you, and hopefully this will answer any questions you have. And I'd also encourage you to start on your final analysis now. We have about a month or so, but you'd be surprised at how much time moves forward, and it'll be May 12th before you know it. So without any further ado, let's move into our conversation for today. So first and foremost, I wanted to just kind of remind you of this particular PowerPoint. It can be found in Unit 2. Literally, this is the framework for your paper in terms of the expectations for content and what needs to be a part of that particular process. So as we move forward, we recognize again that these are the components that make up a policy analysis. And so these are the things that I'll be looking for in your paper. You're going to need to look at and explain the historical background for the policy that you were presenting, the problems that necessitated that particular policy, a description of that policy, an analysis of the goals, the political, economic, and administrative feasibility as well. So you're going to be doing all those things. What does that look like? It looks like this. So when you're answering questions as it relates to the historical background, these are things that you will want to consider in terms of what you'll need to answer. So as you have done your research, as you have looked through articles and books, your literature reviews, as well as there may be other sources as well, these are the questions you will need to really pay attention to under that first part of the background of the particular policy. So we need to know these things. Second, you're going to also then describe the problems that necessitate this policy. So the nature of it, how widespread is it, how many people are affected by it, who's affected and how are they affected, and what are the causes of this particular problem. So think about through that, and so as you are gathering information from these various sources, these are the questions you want to answer. You're going to describe the policy, how does it work, what resources and opportunities does it provide. So all of these questions here are things that you will need to address in the context of your paper. Speaking to all of these areas as it relates to having a thorough description of the actual policy. And then we'll do an analysis. And so your analysis is going to be looking at what are the policies, the goals from a legal standpoint. You're going to be looking at some data and outcome to really make a determination about whether they're democratically done. Do they contribute to social equality or not? Do the goals provide a positive affect or redistribute income, gifts, resources, entitlements, these things? So these are things you're going to have to scope through and dig through for answers. Do they goals contribute to a better quality of life for the target population? So whoever was designed to help, is it actually helping, and how so? Will they adversely affect the larger population or the quality of life of this target population, and what does that look like? And does the policy contribute to the social relationships for these target groups as well? And then finally, are they consistent with the social work professional goals? So the things in our code of ethics that we strive for in terms of our work with clients, we're going to want to know whether those issues are addressed as well. So those are the 4 slides that you need. I would suggest that you refer back to them as often as you need to as you're getting ready to move forward with this particular project. So please, by all means, do that. Let's talk about the actual assignment. So I'm going to open a copy here of the actual policy assignment, and what it entails and just kind of walk through it with you. So basically, we've got this assignment description, and it basically is talking about what it is you're learning and what you're demonstrating in terms of being able to look at social problems, understand how they work, understand these oppressive forms that are in place, how institutions are making decisions, and how social change kind of manifests itself. So that's really kind of the essence of the report. So here are kind of the main instructions here as it relates to your assignment. So in your analysis, as we just talked about earlier in the slide, you had these 4 major questions, but as you can see from the slide, underneath each of those questions are a ton of different questions that you can ask in terms of gathering information to make your case as it relates to this particular policy. So for this particular assignment, you're also going to need to refer to your critical race theory book as well later in the assignment, because it's going to ask you to do an analysis of the future of this policy through the lens of critical race theory. Also, that framework that we just talked about in Unit 2, as well as any other scholarly publications or information from credible websites that provide that type of information for you. And that's what we're going to do. So again, APA 7th edition, so paying attention to grammar, words, word choices, in-text citations, making sure that you have enough to demonstrate where the information is coming from. As I indicated in previous conversations, that information in a paper comes from 2 places. It's you and the sources that it originated from, and so you have to provide proper credit for those particular things. So citing regularly and citing often, even if it's multiple times on one page, if it's coming from the same work, I need to make sure that we're not plagiarizing and we're giving credit where credit is actually due. So making sure that those things are there. So now, beyond these 4 pieces, there are also the looking at it through the lens of the Benedictine social work, or should I say the Benedictine values and social work values. So as you know, as a student here at the College of St. Scholastica, we have 5 Benedictine values that guide the work that we do. And so you'll need to look on the website, they should be in your mind, to find out what those Benedictine values are. I'm going to give you all the information. I know it, but I want you to look. It shouldn't be hard to find on the website in terms of the 5 Benedictine values. The social work values as well in your handout in your Code of Ethics books will have these particular values. And so you also want to be looking at this particular policy that you are analyzing and run it through those lenses as well to see whether they actually line up, or whether they are violated, or whether they're ignored. So, it's really just kind of that brief reflection. And then question number 6 wants you to actually then look at choosing one of the options for likely response in terms of critical race theory movement. In your books on page 148 and 149, you will have examples of the 4 options. And what your job is to read through those, looking at your policy, and then making a determination about which particular option makes the most sense as it relates to this particular policy. And they're also wanting you to look at providing some examples from your historical framework that support your particular choice as it relates to those particular options, right? So that's the paper in a nutshell. It'll probably end up being about 10 to 15 pages, making sure that we got the APA format, the proper citations, the reference page, the whole 9 yards. So just make sure that we're looking at all those things. Your paper format will be your title page. You're going to look at the main body of your particular paper, and then you're going to look at the references and appendages. So some things that you can do that might make life a little bit easier as you're formatting your paper. As we are speaking to, for example, these particular 6 items here that your policy analysis must address, those could also be the subtopic headings in your paper and making sure that underneath each of those particular sections of the paper that you thoroughly answer all of those questions that are associated with that piece. And that could be constitute the body of your paper in terms of laying it out in terms of the format, preferably in the order that these questions are listed, would probably make the most sense in terms of moving forward with that. So again, just wanted to take some time just to kind of share with you where we are as it relates to this particular assignment. So there's a full draft assignment that you will need to turn in a few weeks earlier before you do your final assignment. We'll take a look at, give you some feedback in terms of what we want to lay out as well. So we've kind of got the format down. The other thing I think it's important to understand and recognize is, so how are we going to grade this? So this is the final rubric. So how we'll be doing this again, we're 50 points, so this is where, you know, a good section of all of your points in the entire class, and so we definitely want to get this right, as well as it's a competency assignment. So the first thing that we're going to be looking for and grading you on is area number 1, which is really understanding the historical, social, economic, organizational, environmental, global influences that affect the policy. So if you're wanting to get the maximum points for this particular section, then your answers need to fall into the exemplary range. And so this is an example of what constitutes exemplary performance as it relates to that particular part of the paper. Moving on down, you can see that, you know, demonstrating knowledge about the formation of the policy. So again, if you're looking at the exemplary column, these are the things that you will need to make sure that you include in your analysis. Demonstrates knowledge of the policy analysis, implementation, and evaluation. Again, looking at these, are you addressing these issues in an exemplary way as you're putting the information into your paper? That's how you want to ask that. Is it organized well? Is it formatted? Is the paragraphs indented? Sentence structure there? No errors as it relates to spelling? No contractions in your paper? Those kind of things, and it flows logically. These are going to be the things that we're looking for here. Number 5, we're looking at, you know, this critical thought process, careful critical thought. So making the argument for your analysis in terms of why you see whether the policy is doing what it needs to do or whether it needs serious revision. So being able to really think through and articulate that, as well as your clarity. Is it well written? Is it precise? Are you using the right words? Are you making sure that all those things are in place? Grammar, punctuation, and then also, you know, are you citing from credible sources? So making sure that you're getting scholarly information from experts through scholarly review and unbiased media. So making sure that you do that. Stay away from Wikipedia. It is not designated as a scholarly site, as the information, anyone can access it and change it as needed, so there's no way of knowing what the accuracy is. So resist the temptation to go there as it relates to the credibility in terms of what we're looking at. So again, as you are putting together your paper, these are things that you're going to want to pay attention to as well, making sure that as you are finishing up, that these are the things that you're paying attention to as you're doing your paper. So again, the instructions themselves are going to be important. Making sure that you hit the page lengths, making sure that you proofread. I would suggest that you start on it early and maybe even send your draft up to the writing center so they can give you feedback as well about the particular paper. Clearly articulate the policy or, you know, the piece of legislation that you are actually going to be doing the analysis of, and stay focused on that particular piece as well. Resist the temptation to add your 2 cents as well in terms of your opinion. So because again, scholarly work is really looking at reviewing what's there and coming to a conclusion based on the information that's been presented. So hopefully this will help you in terms of moving forward with completing your project in a timely manner and to make sure that you get the best possible grade that you can. So if you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, or set up a time to do a Zoom meeting, and I'll be more than happy to assist you with that. So good luck to you as you start your final leg in terms of your final assignment for your Social Welfare American Policy course. Thank you.